I'm trying to decide how I should buy my course materials for college. I keep going back and forth between printed textbooks and digital books on a tablet.
That's a real decision now. A lot of students mix the two, but it depends on what kind of classes you'll take. Why are you considering digital books so seriously?
The biggest reason is portability. My schedule will probably send me from one side of campus to the other, and I don't want to carry 3 or 4 thick books every day. If most of my readings are stored on one device, moving between classes should be much easier.
That would definitely lighten your bag. Some campuses are basically small cities.
Exactly. And there's another thing I like. If I study from digital worksheets or scanned practice pages, I can keep an untouched copy and make working copies whenever I want. That means I can solve the same set again later without buying another workbook or erasing all my answers.
That's actually a smart point. Reusing practice material could save both time and money.
That's what I was thinking. With paper workbooks, once you fill everything in, they lose some of their value for review.
Digital reading has another advantage, especially for subjects with lots of unfamiliar terms. If you tap a word in some apps, you can get a definition immediately, and a few programs pull out your highlights or collect your notes in one place, so reviewing becomes less scattered.
That would help a lot in language classes, or even in courses where the terminology is new. I hadn't really considered how useful instant lookup could be.
Still, I wouldn't want all my materials to exist only on one tablet.
Because of technical problems?
Right. If your files aren't backed up and your device crashes, gets stolen, or suddenly stops syncing properly, you could lose weeks of notes and marked passages. That kind of loss doesn't just waste time. It can also ruin your study rhythm right before an exam.
That would be awful. One of my cousins lost a semester's worth of notes after a software problem, and she had to rebuild everything from memory.
There's also a legal side people ignore. Since digital files are easy to duplicate, students sometimes forward them to friends or upload them somewhere without thinking, but convenience doesn't cancel copyright rules.
True. Something being easy to copy doesn't automatically make it okay to share.
Exactly.
Even so, printed books still tempt me. When I read on paper, I feel more grounded. I can scribble in the margins, flip back and forth quickly, and remember where something appeared on the page. Sometimes I don't remember the exact sentence, but I remember that it was near the top left corner of a page in the second half of the book.
That kind of physical location memory is real for a lot of people. And paper books don't require constant pinching, zooming, or scrolling. On a smaller screen, that can become irritating after a while.
Yes, that's one of my complaints about tablets. Even when the text is clear, I sometimes feel like I'm managing the screen instead of focusing on the content.
On the other hand, printed books have their own drawbacks. They're heavier, and if several professors assign expensive textbooks in the same semester, the total cost rises fast.
I know. Buying used copies can reduce the cost a little, but it still adds up. And if I'm walking across a huge campus every day, the weight matters more than I'd like to admit.
Then maybe the answer doesn't have to be all or nothing.
That's where I'm landing, actually. I'll probably use digital books for most classes, so I don't have to carry so much around. But for 1 or 2 courses where I'll need to mark up the pages constantly, I may buy printed copies.
That sounds like a balanced plan.
Yeah, I think that's the most realistic choice for me.
Part 3. Ebooks Questions. 1. What is the main topic of the conversation? 2. According to the woman, what is one benefit of digital study materials? 3. What advantage of digital reading does the man mention? 4. What concern does the man raise about using only digital materials? 5. What does the woman say she likes about printed books? 6. Why is the woman leaning toward digital books for most classes? 7. Which format will the woman most likely use for most of her classes?